Hey, it's Jordan. I am joined by an Amazon worker. Will remain anonymous so that they could keep their job. We've spoken before. Today, Amazon, Instacart, Walmart, Target, FedEx, a lot of workers from these companies are striking as part of May Day. You're working, so no judgment on you. Uh, so let's pick up where we left off last time when we spoke last time, which I think was like 3 weeks ago. Um, Amazon was not being transparent at your plant in Pennsylvania. Workers were kind of having to piece together how many workers were actually positive with COVID. And it seemed that workers were basically, even if they did feel sick, still coming to work because, of course, unless you have a positive test, Amazon was not um, Amazon was not giving you paid sick leave. What has changed since then?
Yeah, when we first talked, it was just starting to get rolling here now, and I'm in a town where it just got crazy real fast, and in a plant that got crazy. We definitely have the most by far in the country, except for outside of New York City. It's not even close. They did give us specific numbers up until 2 weeks ago, so I guess during that bailout bill, the companies were no longer having to disclose the amount. So we were getting texts like we had 11 new cases, we had 9 new cases, we had 4 new cases. That at last count, everyone's got a little bit of different numbers, but it was in the 60s. And then ever for the last 2 weeks, it's like we have additional cases. We have additional cases. There's no numbers. They don't have to disclose that anymore. And but we work in a town where 1 out of 25 people actually have COVID-19. It's crazy. Like nobody else in the county or even surrounding areas is even close to those numbers. So that's why we kind of exploded here. So
How
they
many
had a
how
real.
many people live in your town that 1 out of 25 have it?
I don't know how big this town is because I don't live here, but
Okay.
it's a mid-sized town. You know,
Okay.
definitely it's not Allentown or any of those, but it's a smaller town like that. But there's a good amount of people here. But like I said, it was a real slow rollout. I mean, at first it took forever just to even get gloves, and then forever to get masks. And then finally, they started doing some temperature screenings. You know, they point the gun at your head and make sure you're under, but you had to be under 100 point something, so then you could still even work. And then they send up thermal scanners where you just stand in front of things and they just give you the thumbs up or not if you can go to work.
Hmm.
The craziest thing now is that, and from everything I'm hearing, I know I work in a section where I do, privy to some information, but definitely not from on high. But they are setting up tables to actually roll out COVID-19 tests that they could get back in a day. Now, I don't know how many hospitals and doctors don't have these tests. Well, what I'm hearing is Jeff Bezos bought a company that manufactures these tests, and we're gonna roll out next week. You come in, you got to get the test. If you test positive, they deactivate your badge, send you home for 2 weeks. I mean, you will with pay, so I'll give them that. But where they're getting, we have 2,000 plus employees. Where that they're getting 2,000 tests, they could do this and turn around in a day. Who's administering these? We don't know yet. I mean,
Yeah, who's administering the janitor?
yeah, exactly. I mean, right now the people just that took your temperature were just workers. I mean, there was no doctors or I haven't seen doctors or nurses or anyone involved. So we just in the last day or two, we've been hearing this, and I'm hearing it from real good sources. And if it happens next week, I'll definitely let you know how that all goes. I mean, because we'll know because we'll be getting the test. I mean, but that is just the craziest thing I've heard so far. It's just a weird, crazy work environment.
And you said your warehouse definitely has the highest positives in the country. You said, where do you get that from?
I haven't seen anything near 60s. Our last numbers were in the 60s.
Of positive.
Yeah, so we definitely got texts up until 60 something, and we've gotten at least 5 that said additional. So we got to be in the 70s, and
And now when the managers or whomever sends out the text, they're not giving you actual numbers.
yeah, now all they have to do is say additional.
Huh. And when we first talked, you were saying that there are people that feel sick but are working anyway because they're not getting paid time off if they don't want to work. Do you still see that where people seem to be under the weather?
No, once these numbers started getting crazy in our place, for March and April, you didn't have to come in. I mean, you wouldn't get paid, but you did not have to come in. So this 1 out of 3 workers who are maybe coming in starting today, May 1st. No more unlimited time off. You have to come back in. They're going to use all this because they hired so many temporary, new hires to cover the people that weren't coming in. People are, desperate enough to need a job and, feed their families, which you can't blame anybody for that.
Mm-hmm.
But starting today, everyone's got to come in. And if you you get a certain amount of hours, but it's back to normal. So if you use up your unpaid time off, you're fired.
Wow. And you might not know this because, of course, the mainstream media is not going to cover it. But David Sirota, who's a journalist, just broke a story that, okay, so basically Amazon lobbied Trump's Securities and Exchange Commission to essentially, like, Amazon shareholders, I'm kind of shocked. I'm shocked by this, wanted to push a vote to make Bezos and management provide the proper PPE, masks, gloves, all that stuff. And Amazon's lobbyists, they got an army, basically got Trump's SEC to basically stop Amazon shareholders from being able to vote for this. I mean, this is some real Hunger Games stuff here, if you ask me. What does that say to you? I mean, you're working. I assume right now you're getting some type of hazard pay?
Yeah, we did for, once, everyone stopped coming in, they had to give something. So we did get $2 extra an hour and double time for overtime, up to 59 hours a week you could work. And that ends, I think we got 2 more, we get the next 2 weeks, we get 2 more weeks, and then that stops.
So what does it say to you that Jeff Bezos is the richest man on earth?
That made it $22 trillion already this year.
Right.
Alone.
22 trillion?
Yes. Sorry, billion. I'm getting crazy.
If he made 22 trillion, I'd be more pissed off. 22 billion. So what does it say to you that not only does he have the capability to provide these things, but his lobbyists, instead of just spending the money on providing it, his lobbyists are trying to get Trump's SEC to basically stop shareholders, which would be a really embarrassing thing for him if shareholders voted to force them to do this.
Yeah.
What does it say to you about how they feel about workers, just whether they live or not, really?
They don't care. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, we're an assembly line. With all these, how many people lost their job? 30 million people lost their jobs in the last 6 weeks. They got 30 million people that are going to line up for this job. So, for every person that goes, there's somebody that's going to come in. Like I said, the only reason that so many people were not coming in here was because we were hit so hard. I mean, I'm looking at others that have, 5 cases, 10 cases. We were like so fast into the 30s and 40s and 50s that, people were just actually too, that's why this warehouse has been different than all the others.
Well, I would also add, and again, not a scientist, this is just my opinion, but Pennsylvania has been environmentally decimated in the last 20 years, and fracking. Josh Fox brilliantly brought this to the light. Fracking has gone berserk in Pennsylvania. So all of this air pollution, water pollution, these kind of environmental factors would make people a little bit more vulnerable to a deadly pandemic.
Absolutely. The hardest hit town in Italy is the most polluted town in all of Europe. So, I mean, yeah, it all goes hand in hand. Absolutely.
And, I'm not judging you that you're working today. That's, I understand not everybody has a different situation. But what does it say to you that by default, since so many of your workers aren't coming in because of the hazard and the risk, they are, they're giving you double overtime, these kind of things. Wouldn't that indicate that a collective strike nationwide, they'd be forced to do right?
Yeah, that's it. It's just been so scattered. I mean, for us to really, we'd have, if every Amazon shut down for one day, but I have to be that coordinated. And it's just not there yet. We're not close to that. Too many people are going to come in because we're in the craziest desperate time. It's not like we're in a normal time right now.
But I also just interviewed someone, and a lot, like, I don't know your situation, but a lot of workers, their wives or whatever, their husbands got laid off. So now they are the only one bringing home money. So it's kind of like maybe you'd consider it if your spouse wasn't laid off. But if your spouse is laid off, if you just go on strike and risk losing your job, then what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if we get back to some, yeah, I mean, I would love to have every Amazon just shut down for a day. It would be the greatest thing I'd ever seen, and I would be so glad to be part of it because I mean, there's so much stuff that he's making. So, yeah, it's crazy. You know, it's infuriating. It's frustrating. It's everything. You know, but it's you know, this is a whole critique of capitalism, end stage capitalism. So I mean, there's so much beyond just working in an Amazon that we could go into. But I got to get back to work, Jordan. And
Real quick, one question.
oh yeah,
I feel like
go ahead.
we have a race to the bottom here. Trump is a phony populist. You know, I'm going to bring back all the factories and workers are getting screwed. He's obviously allowing all this to happen. Biden, you know, I'm Scranton Joe, but I don't hear him taking on Jeff Bezos or speaking out for workers like you. So,
Obama's the guy that worked for Obama's like they're that one of Amazon's PR guys. So yeah, of course.
like, what is a worker to do? There doesn't seem to be a lot of hope in electoral politics right now. The choices.
I don't feel any hope right now. I wish at the end of the day, oh my God, this would take hours to even talk about. But I just really appreciate you staying on top of all these kind of stories. And congrats on that story from the Flint, Michigan. Oh, that was crazy. I was watching that on Rise. I saw you on Rising the other day. Congrats
thanks.
on that.
Thanks, man. Spread the word because the media is not covering it, of course.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Oh, so I thought you were on MSNBC the next day.
All right, man. Be well.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.